Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with DR Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. I am back with another prophetic message. For those of you who are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And for those of you who are returning back, I want to say welcome back. Keep in mind that these energies could be happening right now at this moment for some of you, or it could have possibly happened to some of you already, just depending on your location on the, just depending on your location on the planet or whatever. Anyway, yes, so keep in mind that if these energies aren't resonating right now, but you feel like you were being divinely guided to watch my channel, just keep in mind too that these energies could possibly relate to you within the next couple of days, next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, month out. And again, it can even go a little further out. Hold on, y'all. Oh, are you kidding me? Give me a second, y'all.
Ooh, somebody can use a shave. They don't want you to know this. Come on, stay with me. Free range of right hand.
Sorry about that, y'all. Anyway, so with all that being said, the one time I started recording, that never happened to me before. Anyway, so yes, so let's get into the message. Oh, and also keep in mind too that if the message isn't necessarily resonating with you right now, it could be a situation that, are you kidding me? Thank you, Spirit. It could be a situation that maybe somebody that you're around is possibly experiencing this, possibly experiencing these energies right now. So keep that in mind as well too. Anyway, so I want to say this. First of all, these energies are ramping up. And when I tell you they're ramping up, they are ramping up. This message couldn't come at a better time because I've been noticing, I've told you guys to expect that when you go into the grocery stores to see a lot more elderly people in the stores rather than maybe a whole bunch of people that you normally would see. It's like it was almost like, and what had came to me with that in a sense, because I was like, okay, Lord, I said, I know that you showed me in a dream, because not only was the message, sometimes these messages are meant for myself as well too, and then messages that other people experience as well too. So I have been noticing the elderly people in the store. And for those of you who are in high frequency, the explanation came to me when I was in a shower. A lot of times I get a lot of messages when I'm around water. Anyway, so with that being said, the reason why that was taking place was because it's almost like when there are other people around, it's almost like other people kind of absorb that energy. So it's almost like when it was just the elderly people around and shopping at the stores, for some of you guys who actually went into the stores who are vibrating at a higher frequency, should I say, it's almost like you were helping to charge and energize the elderly people, should I say, without necessarily doing it, but just you being in their presence. So that's the message that I had received, because I was asking God, what was that all about? And then I also mentioned too that there would be some females who would run into, teenage kids. And that happened to me also, that we didn't stop and have a conversation, but it's just like, almost like a bumping into each other, not literally bumping into each other, but yeah, so I noticed that has happened too. Now, on the other hand, some of the men, you guys were experiencing the situation. And when I say men, I mean like male archetypes and not the male energy. But anyway, some of you guys were experiencing a situation of where it seemed like elderly people would seem like they were kind of chasing you down in a sense. I think what it was is you probably feel like subconsciously that they're chasing you down in some sort of way, but they're really not. It's almost like in some sort of way, for those people who, again, are resonating at a higher frequency, it's almost like you're helping to charge those elderly people just by kind of being in their dominant presence, should I say. But anyway, and when I say high frequency people, I mean those people who actually done the work. So that's what I'm hearing to let you guys know, because that's not applying to everybody. But anyway, so with that being said, I do want to share this with you because I feel like I'm being divinely guided to do so. So I want you guys to know that this energy is serious. And when I said that it's serious, it's, it's going to be different for everybody else. To me, I was like, what the hell? Anyway, but with that being said, these energies are ramping up. They are really ramping up. They are ramping up. Thank you, Spirit. These energies are really ramping up. And that was a confirmation right there for y'all. But anyway, they're really ramping up. That's all I can tell you. And it's going to be a matter of how to handle the energy, should I say. A lot of times I experience things first, and it's almost like to kind of help navigate other people through those same experiences, should I say, to help them to be able to get through that energy. But yes, that energy ain't no joke. So I hope you grounded. And if you're not grounded, you better get grounded real quick. If the universe has been asking you or telling you to do certain things and you've been kind of pushing it off, brushing it off, and ignoring it, ignore it no longer. That's the only thing I can tell you. But anyway, so what do I want to say? Yes, I experienced a situation this week where me and the kids went to Costco's real quick on Wednesday to get some items. So as I was leaving and getting back in my car, I had noticed a situation of a lady who was just kind of sitting there. It was just kind of weird. But the point of the matter that I want to make to you is almost like I felt, as I explained to you guys before, I am an empath. So therefore I can feel other people's energy. I can feel it, whether somebody's talking about you behind your back, I can feel that too. In other words, people on the channel, whatever the case may be, I can feel those things, in other words. So it's almost like nothing is being hidden. As a matter of fact, nothing is being hidden any longer, should I say. In other words, it's like, for those people who think that they can do things behind closed doors and nobody, thank you, Spirit. They think that they can do things behind closed doors and nobody's going to be able to see what they're doing because they're in the comforts of their own home. That no longer exists, especially if you have, let me just say this, if you have spiritual ties and a spiritual connection to someone else. Some of you may know this is what I'm hearing, and some of you may not even be aware of this energy, should I say, that you don't even know probably what it is, and probably just thinking that it's your own stuff. So I say all that to say, last week there was a situation of while I was talking about certain people, people showing up at people's lives, should I say. And as a matter of fact, thank you, Spirit. Spirit is actually taking me back to the conversation that I had with you guys when I said that God was closing the doors on your enemies. I don't know if you watched that video, but go back and watch that video where I talked about God closed the door on the enemies. And I said something about that I was there spiritually with my spiritual spouse, should I say. I was there in the house spiritually, but I wasn't there. My body wasn't there physically. So it's almost like I went to open up the door and saw that it was 2 dead snakes outside the door, talking about that video. But then I noticed that after my spiritual spouse had closed the door, because he closed the door already, but I came down and somehow I opened up the door spiritually just to kind of see what was outside the door. I guess the reason why he was closing it. And I noticed that it was 2 dead snakes. The 2 dead snakes had represented the enemy, hidden enemies that, some of you guys had kind of pushed out of your life. Now, I say all that to say, but there was 2, and I mentioned to you guys that was a situation that there was going to be 2 more tests that you guys are going to find yourself dealing with. And it was 2 snakes that was inside the house. One was on the back of the neck, and the other one was hidden in a drawer. So you guys are going to need to pay attention. These people that pop up in your life, you have to understand, what I'm hearing is you guys have spiritual ties to somebody else already. And when I say spiritual ties, I mean like a spiritual connection. This is your kingdom spouse, this is your kingdom husband. You know, in other words, you guys are tied together spiritually. So in other words, I say all that to say, Spirit wants me to let you know that it doesn't matter who you go out there and try to entertain. And even because you don't like the way how your life is turning out right now at this exact moment, and you keep feeling like, oh, well, you know what? Because what I'm hearing Spirit say is some of you guys don't want to have this conversation with the other person. In other words, you're fearful, is what I'm hearing, of what you think that this other individual or how they may respond, because you know that you have to come clean. And I say come clean in the sense of, you know, it's like you have to express, you have to confess, you have to, you know, basically what I'm hearing is it's a cleansing, in other words. So, in other words, God is saying that he cannot bring your spiritual spouse into you. I mean, you're, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. In other words, your divine union is protected. But God, and he will keep allowing you to make the mistakes. In other words, you know, keep entertaining this person, entertaining that person, you know, for those of you who he has already shown who is for you. Some of you is to the point that it's like your pride and your ego is kind of blocking you from that kingdom spouse, in other words, because you're fearful of what or how they may look at you with you confessing your while you're cleansing yourself, is what I'm hearing. So in other words, I say all that to say, there's a saying that says, in order to heal something, you have to first confess it. So in other words, for those of you who have those kingdom relationships, is what I'm hearing, you have to confess your wrongdoings. Just like we all have to go to God, and we have to say, God, you know what? This such and such is really bothering me. Like me, I'll give you an example. Like, I was really saying, God, like my neighbor is really getting on my nerves or whatever the case may be. But I try to keep it calm, keep it cool or whatever the case may be. Because I'm like, just mind your business, you know, and stay out of everybody else's stuff. Like, it's hard enough to worry about yourself. But I say all that to say that, you know, it's to the point that I don't wish anybody any ill will. That's not coming from a place. It's just coming from a place like they're just really getting on my nerves. But anyway, and I get it. God's kind of using them as to teach me to not allow people to kind of like, you know, work my nerves, should I say, whatever. But anyway, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But I say all that to say, God wants you to confess your sins. So it's almost like when you go into your kingdom spouse, your kingdom, you know, wife, your kingdom husband, or whatever, the individual who God has union you with, you have spiritual ties to, you're spiritually connected, and you've been spiritually connected with each other from, you know, lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. So I say all that to say that you were meant to do something different in this lifetime. And the point that you're meant to do something different in this lifetime is because in all other lifetimes, you're responding the same way that you have responded in all other lifetimes. In other words, you sabotage your relationships. You've done this, you've done that, you entertain the wrong people. And, you know, I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm just telling you what I am hearing Spirit says. So again, this is not coming from a place of judgment or beating anybody up. It's just a matter of Spirit just basically wants you to confess your sins. That's it. You know, and some of you, I hear you saying, you know, even before this video reach you, you know, well, thank you, Spirit. Thank you so much. You on point. I hear some of you saying, well, you're not God in a sense, so why do I need to confess my sins to you? No, because God is in each and every one of us. So when you go to the person that you have wronged, in other words, when you go to that person that you have wronged, it's almost like you're confessing to God. So that's what it is. Look at it from that standpoint. God wants you to get to a different mindset, to get you to have a different perspective, and to look at things from a different perspective, and to not look at things from a, you know, one-track mind point of view. We're going I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Spirit was like, stinky dink. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm into go-go, whatever the case. Maybe I love go-go. I'm not gonna say I'm into go-go. I love go-go. I don't like that new school go-go. I like the old school go-go. But anyway, I just heard Spirit say like stinky dink, get riggedy raw. Anyway, that one-track mind song. Anyway, so some of you guys have a one-track mind that you're so focused on, and you're determined to do things. What I'm hearing is your way, and the longer and it's coming from no place of judgment, because God is gonna allow you to keep making those choices of wanting to do things your way. And what I'm actually hearing, that some of you have been through almost all the national all races, in other words, trying to find that one true love, should I say, different races, should I say. And I say all that to say that I'm not laughing, but I'm just saying it's almost like Spirit's just like, nope, nope, nope. Like, you can keep trying all day long, but until you stop running and face your problems and face your issues and address whatever it is that God is asking you to address, the longer it takes for you to run into your partner, should I say. And when I say partner, this conversation is actually more geared towards those who are on that twin flame journey, should I say. Anyway, so the longer it's going to take you to kind of come in union, because Spirit is bringing to my attention, I actually did a video. I don't even think I did this on Patreon, but I don't even think I did I do a video on this? I can't remember. Did I do it on Patreon? I want to say around about the time of November of last year. Spirit, it was either November, I want to say November or October. Spirit had actually gave me a prophetic dream message, and that message in the dream was, some of you, you're going to have to be by yourself for a little while. And the reason why God had said that is because the prior to that dream, it was like my spiritual spouse in the dream, is like they were trying to act like they were spiritual, but God was like, no, I can see you. In other words, like, because what he said to me in the dream was they're trying to be spiritual and they're not, in other words. So that's the reason why he had told me in a dream, it wasn't just for myself, but it was for other people too, to understand that, I know it seems like this journey is taking a minute or whatever the case may be, and it may not necessarily be for those who are doing the work, because you're already vibrating at a higher frequency is what I'm hearing. But it's those people who are still learning lessons behind the scenes, because it's like, some of them have not either released some people, or some people are entered into their vicinity. And it's almost like when I said there were 2 other tests, like, that's a situation of a test. So in other words, I say all that to say, there was the dream that I had. Bear with me, guys. I know I'm all over the place because Spirit just, telling me here, there, pew, pew. Anyway, so the dream that I had, when I talked about in the dream that it was my spouse in the dream and he was with the white girl, whatever the case may be, and she had a baby on the hip or whatever, and I really didn't want to go into their apartment, should I say. So when I said that some of you guys are in relationships, knowing that you already, physically married or whatever the case may be, but entertaining other people, prior to that message coming through, I felt the energy, should I say, around that some people are dealing with. And I say all that to say, like, the energy, like that, it was almost like someone was pulling and tugging, and some people, because I said before, some of you guys are empaths and don't even know it. And sometimes you guys are picking up on other people's energy, in other words. So it was like a sexual type energy. So in other words, it's almost like someone was pulling and tugging, like at like you were picking up on other people's energy in some cases, what I'm hearing. But in other cases, it was some people who have those addictions, should I say. And I say all that to say, like, it takes a person, it's almost like a charmer is what I'm hearing. Somebody came into your energetic field and charmed you, should I say. And it's almost like when this individual came into your energetic field and kind of charmed you, get you to let your guards down. And it's almost like the sexual energy was being felt, just throughout the collective, should I say. It's almost like it's almost like they were testing you to try to, for those people who had somebody come into their energetic field and who were being tested, should I say, and who was being charmed by the individuals who they were, and make no mistakes, for the people that I'm watching, obviously it was somebody who was Caucasian, or who's watching my channel. It must have been those who are Caucasian, because like I said before, when God takes and show me a specific race or person, that lets me know who the person is. So some of you guys was dealing with that situation. But anyway, I say all that to say that You know, God is not going to allow you, thank you, Spirit. God is not going to allow you to go into a relationship where you are either lusting after someone else, or you are even having other people tug at your sacral chakra, should I say. Or in other words, God is not going to allow you to go into union with your partner with blemishes, is what I'm hearing. You know how the scripture talks about in Jesus that Jesus was saying something, I can't remember, saying something about that we should be in our white garments without any stains or wrinkle. You know, you can Google that, without any stains or wrinkles. So in other words, God is not going to allow you to come into a relationship with your kingdom spouse with any issues or any flaws, none whatsoever. In case some of you guys have not got that message, God will block you. He will shield and protect that other person from you, and basically in order for you to get the message. Because in other words, what I'm hearing is like some of you guys are like babes in Christ. It's almost like some of you guys need a bottle. You need a bottle of milk. In other words, it's like you're going through the various stage. You know, you're going through the infant stage. You're going through the toddler stage. You know, you're going through the different stages in order to mature into an actual man, lion, king, is what I'm hearing. So I say all that to say, all these tests are coming to you. They're coming to you for a reason, and they're coming to you because you're being tested to just see what choices that you're gonna make. So for my understanding, I believe that that's one test after the hidden enemies had gotten after God had closed the door on the hidden enemies. So with that one person coming through here with the dream that I just had in regards to some of you guys entering or entertaining somebody who is outside of your race, and make no mistake, I want you guys to understand, it's not the fact that somebody is talking to somebody outside their race. What God wants you to know is, if you decide you want to date somebody outside your race, that's fine. I kind of explained this somewhat in another video. That's fine. That's not the issue. The point of the matter is, know yourself first. Because if you don't know yourself and you dealing with other people, it's almost like you will find yourself conforming to those other people. God wants you to know yourself and stand in your power, should I say, because when you know how to stand alone and stand in your power, in other words, and know thyself, when people come along, you're not persuaded. They're not able to trigger you sexually. They're not able to, charm you in any sort of way because you see past the BS. They're not able to come in to try to manipulate because you see that. So I say all that to say that, and after you know yourself and know who you are, and you decide to date outside your race, by all means, do that. To each is to own, but my perspective is, you should know yourself first, and know thyself, and know what you're dealing with before you actually decide to do that. And I just say that because when you're dealing with another culture, that's a whole totally different ball game, because now you got to understand their culture. Now you got to understand, and this is not a dividing of keeping people separate. That's not what I'm saying, because even if I was decide to date outside of my race, I'm going to learn the culture. I'm going to learn why they do certain things. I'm going to ask questions. Well, what is your spiritual belief? Well, show me what you do, or I'm going to question everything. I'm not going to just be jumping in and blindsided, should I say. I want to know all of that. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but Spirit was directing me to say that and clear it up. But anyway, let me get into the prophetic message. Thank you, Spirit. So hold on, y'all. Keep moving this candle. My light keep going out. Anyway, so dang it, I did it again. Okay. Bear with me, y'all. Hold on. Anyway, so let me get right into the message. So I say all that to say all these energies are leading up to right now at this present moment. Anyway, so this morning I received the message. God showed me that he showed me two pictures. He showed me the image of your enemies trying to send you witchcraft, one, and all I saw was, let me just show you real quick. Actually should have pulled this out before you guys know what the pentacle card looked like. I'm sure some of you probably guys watch past tarot readers, but the pentacle card, and I used this and I knew exactly what it meant when I saw it. So okay, so you see this card right here, the pentacle sign, this one. So that's a protection symbol as well too. So I say all that to say God showed me that your enemies, he showed me that some of you who have those enemies that you know who are enemies, not hidden enemies, but you actually know that they're your enemies. He showed me that you're protected from them. All I saw was somebody kind of just sitting as if they were sitting like an Indian style, in other words. But you know, and don't focus on that part, whether you're sitting in Indian style or not. It was just allowing me to understand the message. So somebody was as if they were sitting in Indian style, and there was that pentacle that was very big sitting right in front of them. That was letting me know that you guys are being shielded and protected from your enemies. And the other message that I also received from that same message is, those of you who are, like I was saying earlier, for those of you who are in relationships, who are still married, should I say, and you have not gotten divorces yet or whatever, but you and your spouse are separated, as well as you guys, let me just say this, God is blocking the other person from you. And in other words, your kingdom spouse, God is blocking them right now. And right now he's blocking them for whatever reasons. You know, I truly believe it has a lot to do with what I just talked about a minute ago, just about the choices that are being made, because basically God wants you to come clean, in other words, and speak your truth, you know, and not worrying about, thank you, Spirit, that's what I'm hearing, not worrying about how somebody else is going to perceive you, but just being open and being honest and saying what's on your heart, speaking your truth, you know, and basically confessing your sins in a sense. You know, it's just like when we do something wrong to somebody that's, what I'm hearing is when you do something wrong to somebody and you really want them to forgive them, you go to them and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I messed up. You know, would you please forgive me? You know, when you want to be in good grace with that person. And for those people who've chosen not to do that, is basically God is just blocking them, should I say. In other words. So, again, those who have enemies, you're protected from them. Those of you, what I'm hearing, who has done the work, sorry. But even if you haven't done the work, at some point in time, you're going to be protected from your enemies as soon as you reach that higher frequency. So please don't look at it as if one group is better than the other. It has nothing at all to do with that. What it has a lot to do with is just that when you make certain choices, when you choose and make a conscious choice to do the work, to say, hey, I am now accepting this responsibility, and you do it, you know, God then moves you on to another level. So again, it's not one is, remember what I said, it's not good nor bad. So don't look at it from that standpoint. It's just one person's doing the work, the other one isn't doing the work. And nor are we here to pass judgment for those who aren't doing the work. That's the key. We're not here to beat them up. Because at some point in time, we was in their shoes as well too, making those choices in life that was not necessarily for our highest good, but we thought that's what we had to do at that time, because we thought that's what was best for us. Anyway, so the second thing was, Oh my God, can I relate to this one? Some of you guys have been keeping yourselves closed off from people. And what I'm hearing is some of you guys have been keeping yourself closed off from people for that same particular reason, because I guess you feel like you don't have power is what I'm hearing. Like, it's almost like you feel like if you go out there, like you feel like people are gonna tempt you in some sort of way, get you aroused is what I'm hearing, or in whatever way. This is not all about sexually, but that's just what I'm hearing for those people who resonate with this message. And just for anybody in general who are people, thank you, Spirit. For those who are, thank you, Spirit. Can't thank you enough. Anyway, for those people who are empaths as well too, this applies to them. This also is, with them too. I'll say all that to say that here's the key. God's turning up that energy, and I talked about that before when I said he's turning up that notch a little bit more. So the message that I received also was, don't let yourself become so sensitive because you aren't interacting with others. So in other words, am I saying that right? Okay, anyway, so in other words, God is saying that the longer you keep yourself isolated, the more sensitive you're going to be when you get around other people. And I say all that to say that you're really going to feel it. You're really going to feel that energy. But the moment that you step out inside to interact with others, and again, what I'm hearing too is I guess some of you guys are just like, oh, I'm confused. It's like 1 minute you tell me to get rid of this person, next minute you tell me to do this, and next minute you tell me to do that. That's why I say the energy is like bird box. It's almost like you can't use your physical eyes. You got to feel the energy. Is this person right for me? Am I listening to their message? Am I listening to their story? Does this sound like a pattern that I was dealing with, the same people that I got rid of before? That should be like a little clue right there of, okay, these are not people who I want to be friends. Oh, no, let me avoid that one. You know what I mean? So it's almost like what I'm hearing is you guys trying to find almost like your soul tribe in a sense, but it's almost like doing it like this in a sense. But I know that can be kind of complicated, but I'm just saying, the longer you stay isolated, the more sensitive you are making yourself to become, is what I'm hearing and what I heard and saw in the dream. So let that be a warning to you. Again, that's not to beat you up, and that's not to get you to go outside. You make your own conscious choices, which you feel like is best for you. So that was the message that was relayed to me. So don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, so speaking of shooting, so this third dream was someone had decided that they were going to go and hang out at nighttime. And I kind of got the feeling like this person doesn't normally hang out at nighttime, but for some particular reason, they chose to kind of hang out at nighttime. And it's not the fact that somebody's hanging out at night. I guess it's just what you're doing and what your intentions are. Remember, everything that you do is your intention. So in other words, if your intentions are to get with somebody, or if your intentions are to try to play mind games with people, God is watching all that, so be mindful of that too. Like if your heart is not coming from a pure place right now, you definitely going to feel the energies even more. So anyway, so I saw it as if it was like a teenage kid, maybe teenager, maybe between the age of 15, maybe 21 is what I'm hearing. So keep that in mind too. So they obviously decided that they wanted to go out at night for whatever reason. I don't know. I just saw them outside, but I kind of got the feeling like they don't know. That's not normally in the environment that they're normally in. So anyway, I saw it like as if there was some sort of a task force team. They wasn't police. There was like a task force team. They kind of almost reminded me of, I'm not going to say cops, because they look like they had on like, not the cops who comes with the shields and all this stuff, but you know how when people, in the movies, when you see the task force team coming in and they doing like a bust into a house and they using that big metal steel to break down the doors, they kind of look like them. They was in that type of uniform, but they wasn't busting into anyone's house, but they was just outside for some particular reason. But they seemed like they was trying to control or get the people under control, is what I was kind of insinuating, because I didn't see I just saw them. They stood out the most. I couldn't really see exactly who they were targeting, should I say, but I saw them the most. So it was like a task force team. They had on like the gear, you know, they had the little shields, should I say, and it's almost like, but they also had the weapons too. So it was almost like, I kind of like heard the gun going off, and I remember this kid, because it was as if I was seeing it through his eyes, but he became so fearful. He became so fearful because he didn't know what to do, because he was out of his element. And I say all that to say that he was doing something that he doesn't normally do. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is, some people aren't meant to do everything that everybody else does, period. Because sometimes when you realize, well, I don't get the same effect that these people get, that's because you weren't meant to fit in with that crowd, or you weren't meant to fit in or do the things that they do. God obviously has a higher path for you or whatever. So anyway, this kid became very fearful because he didn't know what to do. I got a feeling like he was out there by himself, and all of a sudden it's like they kind of started, task force kind of started shooting. Now, whether they were shooting like those rubber bullets, I don't know, or whether they was actually shooting real bullets, I don't know. But I just heard the kind of like the gunshots go off or whatever. And I remember the kid being fearful. And I remember like there was this man that was near him. And it was almost like he had like a truck, should I say. He told him to go jump into, he kind of like waved him to come into the truck. It kind of reminds you almost like a UPS truck, but it didn't have UPS on it. One of those trucks, but not as big as a UPS truck. And he basically told him to kind of like, you know, jump in and hide, in other words, kind of like he was helping him out. He saw that he was a little lost. But then it kind of shifted in a sense to the back of, oh, okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so basically, it started off in the truck, and then it shifted as if he was sitting like in the back of a car, or like in the back of a car, and he was tucked over into the corner like this, and he was like, oh my God, he was really scared. He was like, oh, please don't let these bullets hit me. Please don't let these bullets, because I really felt like he was in the path of the bullets, should I say. So he was just saying, please don't let these bullets hit me. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, so he was worried about, wanting to make sure none of those shots were going to hit him. And all I heard him saying was, that I am not coming out, and I'm not coming outside at nighttime ever again, is what he said. So I say all that to say, Divine Spirit of Light, unfortunately, had kind of putting certain people in certain situations, so that way they kind of learn that just because you see other people doing something doesn't necessarily mean that that is meant for you, or that is your path. So keep that in mind as well too. Okay, and then this fourth dream was a dream that I saw. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I already told you about this one. The pentacle. The pentacle, sorry. So anyway, I told you about the pentacle. The pentacle basically represents spirit, fire, air, earth, and water. Anyway, divine protection. So already explained about that one. Anyway, so this last one was, some of you guys, people are going to be looking and being curious about you. Keep that in mind too. So if you find that people are staring at you, they're just trying to, some are trying to figure you out, and some, I mentioned, some I'm hearing is trying to emulate you. Some are just very curious of your energy, of who you are. So those are all the messages that I have, and I hope this information was helpful. And yes, I hope that information was very helpful. But anyway, let me pull you some cards real quick before I go. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your message. sorry, y'all. Spirit is just directing me to another pile of cards. So hold on 1 second. Wanted me to pull out the language of letting go. Anyway. What did the angels want us to know? What did the angels want the collective to know? I'd already pre-shuffled these cards, y'all. And please forgive me. I don't know all the archangels' names. I know one of them. Okay, I know this one. But anyway, so I'll be trying to pronounce their names correctly. But angels, please forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. You know what I mean, though. You know, I mean, no harm, no disrespect. So anyway, it says comfort. Archangel Raziel, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Is there any more messages? Oh my God. I know clairvoyance, claircognitive. Anyway, Archangel Uriel, pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answers to your prayers. Claircognizance. Sorry, y'all. Claircognizance. I think I'm saying it right. Claircognizance. See if you had one more, Spirit. Compassion. I just said this. Remember, everything that you do, you should be coming from a heart space of your intentions. Make sure it's coming from a place of doing right by others. In other words, coming from allowing your heart to lead you and guide you is what I'm hearing. Because some of you I hear are being too you allow your head to lead you is what I'm hearing rather than your heart. Compassion. Archangel Zachael, soften your hearts with respect to this situation and all the people involved, including yourself. So I just said that. I said, remember your intentions, because remember, whatever intentions that you're giving off to people, you know, you're just making it harder for yourself. So God wants you to soften your heart. Brilliant ideas. Thank you, Spirit. Y'all don't hear it, but I hear the amlams. Archangel Uriel, yes, your ideas is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your ideas to fruition. And this last one is spread your wings. Archangel Ariel, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. So if that resonates with you guys, for those of you who feel like you're holding back in a situation, whatever it may be, whether you're not speaking your truth, whether you're holding back with your gifts or your talent, you know who you are. That message applies to all. That is it for that one. Thank you, Spirit. I'm sorry, y'all, in case you wonder what was at the bottom of the deck. Indigo and Crystal Children. Archangel Metatron, you have a bond with children, and particularly you can help children who are sensitive. That is a pure white light and pure unconditional love. That is a pure white light and pure unconditional love only. What message do you have? Oh, God. That is too many cards. I'm sorry. That's too many cards, Lord. Sorry. I'm going to take this one that turned upside down and these three. Do I know all of my strengths and am I using them? We all have superpowers, but it is up to us to uncover them. When we live and lead with our strengths, we are able to show up in our zone of genius. This inspires others to do the same. Ask yourself, how can I use one of my soul gifts today to contribute to this open and ready world? This one says, where am I with my, I'm sorry. Where am I with my, oh, thank you. Sorry, excuse me, y'all. Where am I with my health goals? Where do I want to be? Why am I not there? What will it take for me to feel well? If my body could talk, it would say, what? Ask yourself that question. If your body could talk, that's a question you ask yourself. What would it say? Today's soul's action: feed your body what it needs to feel nourished, appreciated, and loved. Make some new exciting goals to take your health to the next level. Okay. Boom. Who can I serve today? In a world lacking soul to soul. Oh my God, it's so true. And I'll give my quick little testimony on it. I'm like, Lord, it's like so many people that just feel like, I don't know, because I can speak for myself, because like it's almost like I look at people as beautiful souls, but it's almost like at the same time, it's almost like for those people who how can I say it? Thank you, Spirit. It's like those people I feel like who lack empathy for other people. And yeah, it's just like those people who lack empathy for other people. It's almost like I don't want to be around those type of people. You know, it's like I'm not judging them. I just choose not to be around them. Because one thing about me, I've learned that my soul and my spirit becomes disturbed when I'm around people like that. Again, I'm not judging them. I just choose to distance myself from them. You know, anybody who comes from a place of just not having any empathy for anybody else, or just, you know, just feeling like they better than anybody else, you know, it's just like, no, it's like, rather than me stir up my spirit and allow my soul to be disturbed, I'd rather just remove myself from around it. And lately I've been finding myself, you know, just kind of like isolating myself in a sense, because it's just like, you know, yeah, it's just like, whatever. Y'all mingle amongst each other and, you know, I don't know. It's almost like you mingle amongst each other. It's like attracts like was what they say. So if you with somebody who's playing games and, you know, and lacking empathy and just seeing what they can get from another person, and it's all about what I can get or what you can do for me, and they're not being authentic and coming from a place from a real from the heart place, it's almost like, let me step back, let society do what y'all do. And you know, it's almost like when y'all exhaust yourself out and tired of playing games, then you know, you see exactly why some of us have chosen to step back, in other words. But that's just my perspective on things. Anyway, who can I serve today? In a world lacking soul to soul connections, small and simple acts are what, thank you, Spirit. Small and simple acts are what create the bigger and most lasting impact. We shift our own pain and experiences and avalanche of love when we lose ourselves in the service of others. Who needs you today? Ask yourself that. So it says today, soul's action. Listen to your heart. Who needs you? Make one soulful connection today and give solely to spread more love, expecting nothing in return. Notice the joy that you feel when you serve others. And I give you my quick little testimony. So this morning I went out, right, because my son wanted Chipotle. I was going to get my kids Chipotle and get them some ice cream. We haven't had ice cream in the last few weeks, but I say all that to say that, and it's been a good thing. And I asked God to just, it's almost like I don't even want to deal with people in my path, because I just feel like people are just cold calculating, and I just feel like they just, I don't know, I just don't even want to deal with people in a sense. But today I went out with the mindset of having a shield up, and the moment I had a shield up, God was like, okay, you want to put that shield up? I got something for you. So I learned real quick to let that shield down. But I say all that to say, I had went to the fabric store so that I can I went to the fabric store so because me and my daughter or the kids, we get up early sometimes to the point that we're out really, really early before the sun rises, should I say. And I say all that to say, I kind of like, I bought like a little reflector. They have a little reflector pattern at the fabric store. So I bought one so that I can basically kind of sew like a little sash or a little vest together, should I say. Yes, that's another gift of mine, y'all. I like to sew too and create things on the side. But anyway, speaking of which, I should put one on this headband. That'd be very interesting. Spirit just gave me that idea. Thank you, Spirit. Anyway, so with all that being said, yeah, and what I'm hearing too, if y'all learn to if y'all learn to tap into your creative energy, it opens you more up to more positive energy, in case you guys don't know that. But anyway, so yes, anyway, I bought some pattern or fabric, should I say, that was reflecting, so I can make something, like to attach to something that we wear, should I say, or just to kind of make like a little sash out of it, whatever the case may be, so cars will see us or whatever, because I don't want to go out and buy no vest, with the little blinking light on it, because honestly I could barely see that at times when I'm out there. But anyway, so whatever, I actually had a vest, but I actually gave it away to Goodwill probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and I probably should have kept it. I actually had that when we was like had our daycare center business years ago. But anyway, long story short, so I went there, and then I went and got my dog, my poor little doggy. She her little paw pads was a little rough. And I was telling my kids I got to get her something, for her little feet, because as much as I've been walking, and I've been walking almost like 3 years, going on 4 years, and it's almost like she's been walking with me. Where at first, when I first started walking, she wasn't walking with me, but then, I saw that she really wanted to go outside. So I was like, let me go, because at first she was holding me up, by stopping and sniffing at every pole, because she was so used to doing that, because when my spouse would walk her, he would stop basically he would make the walk about her. I'm sorry. But basically when I was outside, I knew I was on a mission. So it's like I wanted her to come, but I didn't want her to be trying to stop at every single location, because it was like I was trying to stay focused. So, and then I kind of started taking her on the walk just to see how she do. And then, now that's my little road dog. But anyway, but with that being said, I went over to PetSmart to get her like some little doggy booties for her paw pads or whatever, because I had some little booty socks. I tried those, and I tried the little shoe things that's supposed to wrap around like the little ankles of her feet, but she tiptoe out of those, and that didn't work. So now I'm trying these like other little feet coverings for her little paw pads, because last night, and for those of you who do get out and walk your pets, if you have pets, you can put some coconut oil on their pets. She really likes to lick that off her pet too, off her feet. But you can put some coconut oil on their feet too, and it'll help their soften up their feet a little bit. This morning I checked them or whatever, and they felt a little better, so that was good. But I still went over to PetSmart and got her some little booties for her feet to protect her paw pads, because just like brakes on a car, you can change those brakes, but unfortunately you can't change the dog paw pads. They just get worn out. So I want to make sure they preserve them, because my next move is to get her a stroller anyway, because I know she likes to be outside. But anyway, with all that being said, so, that's me nurturing my dog. That's me taking care of her. Not only taking care of her, but I take care of my kids. But I say all that to say, this morning when I went out, again, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. This morning when I went out, the first stop was, I went into the fabric store. And I initially went in there. Was that the first stop? Yeah, I initially went in there with my shields up, but it was as if God was just telling me, let your shields down, because you're going to just make it hard for yourself. So I let it down. And when I let it down, it was almost like exactly what I said about in a dream. You allow yourself to become so sensitive because you isolate yourself from other people that you're really going to feel that. And that is so true. So for those of you who have been doing that, I can definitely say that I have been. For those of you who have been doing it as well too, I just want you to know that, now's the time now to start. If you want that energy, to go ahead and start adjusting, because the longer you sit there, the more intense it's going to become, is what I'm hearing. And that's that energy I told you that was going to come through here that nobody's going to be able to control. And yes. So anyway, I let my guards down a little bit with the lady who was at the counter cutting my fabric or whatever. But then the girl at the front counter, she was almost a little testy or whatever the case. So I was just like, But anyway, I felt the energy, should I say. I was fine when I was dealing with the lady at the other counter. So the lady who was at the front counter, I could just tell that her energy was just off a little bit. So I felt that. And I was like, oh my God, like I was just trying to transmute it. Anyway, so I eventually did. But I say all that to say, and then after that, I knew I had to go into Chipotle. And then I knew I had to go into 31 Flavors to get, some ice cream or whatever. So the first thing I had to say is, I was like, Lord, please only put people in my path who are loving people who are, have a loving heart, should I say. Because I don't want anybody handling my food who, again, there's no judgment to them. There's no judgment. It's no judgment. It's no judgment. But just imagine somebody upset and mad and cutting up the food. Well, guess what? They put in that same energy into the food. Now you wondering why you eating your food and you wonder why you mad. That's how that energy works. But I say all that to say, I just wanted loving and kind people to just be in my path, period. Because I know I do right by other people and I just want that in return. That's it, period. And those people who can't do right, they can stay at a distance. But I say all that to say, when I went into 31 Flavors, which is so funny because I think Monday I went in there and they didn't have what my son wanted. So he said he would just wait. And I say all that to say, but this one particular girl in there, she's very different. And I think the last 2 times I've had her, I've actually commented, because she had this little sword on her neck. It kind of looks like King Arthur's sword. It was a sword on her neck with a little stone on it, little ruby stone is what I'm hearing. Anyway, and it had like a little snake kind of going up the stone or whatever. So I asked her about her necklace. I didn't necessarily say I like it. I just asked her, what does that represent? And I think the moment that I asked her that, it was showing an act of kindness. That wasn't today. That was probably about 2 months ago. 2 months ago when I asked her this. So when I asked about her necklace, she just lit up. And because I asked her about something that maybe people at work don't ask her about, they probably were looking at her like she's different, because she the way she dresses, the way she has her hair, it is different. She has a uniqueness about her that does not blend in with everybody else in the environment. So I say all that to say that her demeanor was totally different, and it shifted and it changed the moment that I complimented her on her necklace. I was like, oh, okay, because I was just trying to understand, like, what did that represent? And she was kind of explaining, and she was just really happy, and she was just like this afterwards. So just a simple act of just asking somebody something, acknowledging people, that can just shift them like so quickly. And God was showing me that, like, you just made her day just by asking her about that. So I say all that to say, and then I've had her a couple of other times too, but I really like dealing with her when I go in there, because I can see that she doesn't mind doing her job. And I say all that to say, because there are people who work places and they really don't like what they do. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I've been places that I didn't like what I did and I actually left, should I say. But I say all that to say that I'm doing a disservice to myself. And not only that, but I'm doing a disservice to people if I'm working somewhere that I really don't want to be. But she seems to really enjoy what she does. And she don't do it with like because I had one kid one time. He was young, and I said something to the manager or whatever, because he kind of got upset because I was asking for ice cream. And if you think about it, that scooping out that ice cream can be kind of hard. Well, he kind of caught an attitude, and at that point in time, he caught an attitude. I didn't even want him to fix my ice cream. So the manager had said she would do it, and she basically did. And I tried to not really explain to her. I wanted her to understand, because I asked him to change his gloves, because you have to realize sometimes these people are, thank you, Spirit. Y'all don't hear it, but the ambulance is in back outside again. But anyway, as a confirmation. Thank you. Anyway, so with all that being said, people handle money with the gloves, and people turn around and fix people food with those same gloves. So you have every right to protect yourself and ask somebody to change their gloves, if you don't feel like they're clean, if you don't feel like, if you want to protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called self-love, which you watching out and protecting yourself, in other words, because ain't nobody going to do it more than you. Because I say all that to say, sometimes people behind the counters, they touch stuff. Again, they take money, they handle money, change dollars or whatever, and they go and touch other stuff, and they come right back to the register, touching the register. And then not only that, but then going to handle your food. That's a number one no-no in the food industry, But I say all that to say that I had asked her, she took my order, and I basically asked her, I said, can I ask you so kindly if you could just change your gloves? And she was like, sure. She's always very polite when I ask her, and I'm never rude when I'm saying what I'm saying to these people, but, I say all that to say, she was like, sure. So she changed her gloves. But I say all that to say, because the one kid that I had that one time, he got upset because I asked him to change his gloves. And he was like, but it's hard to put back on. I'm like, that's not my problem. I want to make sure that you fixing my food with clean gloves, in other words. This is what I'm telling you guys. I didn't tell him that, but he just kind of caught an attitude and walked away. And his manager, she started fixing the food. And I tried to explain to her, I used to... be certified by the health department, for serving, food service manager or whatever. And I explained to her, I was like, we in the middle of a pandemic, and he's getting upset because he has to change his gloves because I just saw him over at the register and he just got finished helping a customer. No, he needs to change his glove. And I was like, people worried about their safety right now. You want to make sure you have clean gloves handling your food. And she said, oh, I know, I understand. She says she understand, but she said she had a talk with him or whatever the case may be. And I was just trying to get her to understand that, you got to dispose those gloves. Anyway, I know sometimes business owners don't want to be having to pay for gloves because that stuff can add up. So therefore, and I'm not going to just blame it on business owners, because maybe they give them that training and tell them to change their gloves and stuff. And some people know what they're supposed to do. And then other people are just like, I don't feel like changing. It's just too much time. And more importantly, washing those hands. I think some people think they're supposed to wash those hands before they put on those gloves. But a lot of times they really don't do that. But I say all that to say, and that's how people end up getting sick. But anyway, so just a little food for thought for y'all for the next time y'all out and about and people got on gloves and you see them prior to helping somebody else, prior to helping you. And if they haven't changed them gloves or washed them hands, that's just something to think about. But anyway, so she was very pleasant, and she got the ice cream, and she did. And it wasn't the fact that she put like a lot of ice cream in a container. It was just the fact that it's almost like when I showed her kindness, she showed me kindness, in other words. And it was like, I didn't have to say, oh, can I have some more? Or how people's like, oh, can I get a little bit more? I didn't have to say any of that. It's just that I acknowledged the fact that she was there. A little bit of kindness goes a long way is what I'm hearing. But anyway, so she helped me again today, because when I saw her, when I walked in, I was like, oh, I said hi, because she had just walked up to the register. And I don't normally say hi and wave to anybody. Lately, I've been keeping my highs and my waves to myself, just because I feel like, one, some people are just coming to try to take advantage of, or, not because I feel like, because that's what I know some of them are doing. They got a hidden agenda, and I can see through it. And then I have the situations that I can see people are really sincere. So the people that I see are sincere, I have no problem at all with opening up to them and, just being, not saying that I be mean to other people, but I just kind of act like they're not there. But, not saying it from a place like they don't exist, because yes, they do exist, and yes, their life does matter. I just, again, choose not to entertain them. But anyway, so when I saw her, I was like, hi. I said, I'm so glad you're here. And then she kind of lit up. She's like, hi, I haven't seen you in a while. So then I told her, I said, I'm going to get ice cream, but I had to go make sure that they had the kind that I wanted over there. And they did. So she came over there and I told her what I wanted. And then after she packed up the ice cream, and she basically had said, and I asked her, I said, well, what is your name? And she told me what her name was. So I said, I have to remember that next time, because a lot of these, between 31 Flavors and this pizza place that my son likes to eat from, that I generally try to deal with those specific peoples, because I think they know where I'm coming from, and they know that it's almost like, okay, this woman ain't playing. Like, she want to make sure people are washing their hands, they got on some clean gloves. So I only specifically asked this man to fix my pizza, period. So by me doing that, it's almost like God is holding him accountable to doing what's right, in other words. But I say all that to say, because I asked the girl what was her name. She told me what her name was, and I said I have to remember that next time, because next time before I go up there, I'm going to call and make sure she's working, because I really enjoy her. Honestly, I know I'm just rambling here. Spirit just has me. Anyway, but I say all that to say, I asked God to just do a revamp and a cleansing out of some of these places, because some people has got to go. And I say got to go, I mean, like, it's time for them to shift. Like, you can just tell with the way they give service that they don't really want to be there in their, I'm not going to say their performance, but it's more so of just kind of doing it just to be doing it. And I know some people need to pay bills and so on and so on, but if there's something that you don't like doing, either you need to shift that energy, or God gonna come shift it for you. Yeah. But anyway, so okay, so let me end it, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling on. Spirit just had me going here, going there, because I think he wanted you to understand of what I was dealing with. So again, when I opened up to the girl and the older lady who was in the fabric store, they just seemed to be, it just kind of made their day, should I say. Oh, and more importantly than anything, this one was the kicker. I was really surprised, because when I went into Chipotle, like, they always like trying to rush and get people out. And it's like, because I don't eat meat, right? Me or the kids don't eat meat. It's like, they be trying to skip like on the beans, and the beans, is like a form of protein. So it's like today, I basically, before I got there too, I basically said, God, could you please only allow kind and loving people to serve my food? Just like at 31 Flavors, she showed up, she was there, and I was happy to see her. So I was like, thank you, Spirit. And then when I get to Chipotle to go in there, as soon as they opened up, should I say, it's like the girl, the lady behind the counter, she was more pleasant today. And I noticed they had a shift. I was like, what? But anyway, the shift was, and no harm, no offense, but we all know Chipotle in certain areas, they run by a lot of different people. And sometimes that energy that's in there, it can just be like, kind of confusion, chaotic, and so on and so on. But this time when I went in there, I noticed something different. I noticed a brother behind the counter at the register. I was like, what? I was like, where'd they do that at? But anyway, I was really surprised. But the lady even had the shift in attitude too. And it just goes to show you, because there was also a brother there who actually cooks on a grill too as well too. He's been there for a minute though. But just to see a black guy at the register or whatever, I was just a little shocked. But I just even noticed, just with that little shift and having different people in there, it kind of shift her energy also, almost, because this lady, she's always been there. And I just noticed that. So I say all that to say that I really do hope God starts shaking up some more shit. I'm sorry. I'm not apologizing, but shaking up a lot of places, because I think that some of that energy monotony needs to be shaken up, should I say. It just needs to be, it needs to go. It needs to go. It just, what I'm hearing is it needs a revamp. It needs a renewal. It needs a cleansing is what I'm hearing. All of those. So anyway, just like I was talking about when it was talking about, this is the last part. Just like what I was talking about when God was saying he wants you to confess your sins. It's like he wants to wipe you clean. In other words, he wants to wipe you clean because he wants you to come without any stains, any wrinkles. He can't present you to his bride, and he cannot present you to your husband unless You are without stains or wrinkles. And the stains and the wrinkles represent, your luggage, your stuff that you have not dealt with, or, coming with unhealthy things is what I'm hearing. Thank you, Spirit. Y'all didn't hear it, but my phone lit up. But anyway, this is the last card. It says, I am apologizing for my truth. I think this message is leading up to what I was talking about. So what part of you is apologizing for your truth, and why? Thank you, Spirit. You're so on time. Today, be proud of your truth. Catch yourself when you want to apologize or withhold parts of it. You never know whose life you will change when you are brave enough to speak. And I just said that. The lady at Dunkin' Donuts, the girl at Dunkin' Donuts. Be the lighthouse that shines on the courage that lives in all of us. This will give others permission to speak their own truth. There is room for all of us. Today's mantra is courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. So when you take a step to do what's right and speak your truth and not hold back, God is going to reward you for that, is what I'm hearing. This is the letting go card. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. And this is the last deck, y'all, because this one just came up. Excuse me, Spirit said pull this deck out. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you, Spirit. So yeah, I say all that to say I went out this morning with my guards up, and I had to literally let my guards down. And I had to remind myself, God has shown me that I am protected. So, know that. So what I'm hearing is, if you know that you're protected, walk like you know you're protected. If you walk and and you feel like, if you walk and you don't acknowledge the fact that you're protected, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that energy. So if you walk out here with knowing that I have given you the message that you are protected, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're at, regardless of if you're vibrating at a high frequency or even a low frequency, is what I'm hearing. Yes, just know that you are protected. And like I said, I know some people may be at the... Yeah, okay. Spirit has said, you're protected. Thank you, Spirit. What message do you want the collective to know? What message do you want the collective to know? There's a pure white light and pure unconditional love only. Spirit is right on time. It's exactly, and I guess maybe that was why I was meant to give you my little testimony, because I didn't even know that I knew the card was there, but I didn't even read the title of the card. I knew I had one left. Thank you, Spirit. One more shuffle, y'all. What message do you have for the collective? There's a pure white light and pure unconditional love only. And I know I hear like some of you guys saying, well, why don't she read tarot? I don't, honestly, as I told you guys before, Hoyokas do things ass backwards. And I say all that to say, I've been shuffling the cards for a minute now, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like God, Source, Spirit is going to lead me to do that like later down the road, some way, somehow, when all the tarot card readers kind of like fade away in some particular, I don't know why. I just kind of got that feeling the other day. But I'm not here to read tarot. I'm just giving you guys inspiration with, I'm just giving you guys inspiration with these cards right now anyway. So, all right, let's see. All right, so it says, trusting in life. Today, I will trust that the events occurring in my life are not random. My experiences aren't mistakes. And the universe, my higher power, and life are not picking on me. I just said that. Like, going to turn up the heat, if you don't make a choice of doing something different. I am going through exactly what I need to go through to learn something valuable, something that will prepare me for the joy and loving I am seeking. So this one says, accepting my imperfections. And it says, today I will tell myself that who I am is okay, and that what I am doing is enough. Of course I make mistakes and get off track sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I am not as good as everyone else. No one is perfect, and that's just fine. That's why I said everybody matters, and it's okay. Whatever choices that you make, just know that those choices eventually are going to change, after you're done learning the lesson. So it's all good, no judgment towards yourself. Feeling good. And it says, today I will let go of my need to be in pain and to suffer through crises. I ask God for assistance in moving as quickly as possible through my sad feelings and problems. I ask for help in experiencing joy, peace, and gratitude every day. I will accept what's good in my life today. All right, y'all. So I hope this information was helpful for y'all. And just keep in mind that I saw it's a recurring theme. Again, for those of you who feel like you're being blocked from your kingdom spouses, is because obviously you're not doing something. And actors, what I'm hearing is you're not stepping up. So that's part of the reason why the block is there. But anyway, so with all that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. Unless another message comes through, I'm gonna be sitting on the couch. I'm gonna be eating some ice cream. I'm gonna finish watching my Discovery Witch. I've been watching it lately because I want y'all to know. Sometimes y'all, what I'm hearing is sometimes keep in mind that when you guys are watching certain things are watching, but you're going to notice that it's kind of parallel with your life. Oh, God, am I saying that right? Parallel. I always jack that word up. Anyway, you're going to notice how it kind of coexists with your actual reality life. So just pay attention to that too. Like just even settle things. Because me and my kids have actually been watching Mark Cooper or whatever. And it's like we were kind of going back to watch like some of these old school shows. Funny, very funny. We've been cracking up laughing. But anyway, but I notice every time we watch something in my life has happened that day that is actually showing up in that same in the same show or movie, should I say. So if there's something that you is asking God source spirit, is what I'm hearing too. Like if you guys have been asking God source spirits to just reveal certain things to you, he'll reveal them to you, but you got to get quiet, and you got to get rid of that mind chatter, and you got to get rid of certain people and not allowing certain people to distract you around you, is what I'm hearing too. So that's why it's important to get in that quiet place. But anyway, y'all stay beautiful. Stay prayed up, and remember, encourage somebody today. Courage is contagious. That was the mantra. Courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. And remember, we're not here to judge anyone, but we're here to just accept other people's differences. So, if you see somebody that's a little different from you, say something to them. You never know how you may light their life up. I'm not talking about the people that you would normally hang around with. I'm talking about someone who is different. If you see like you being divinely guided to say something to them, say something to them. You never know how you may light their life up and just kind of acknowledge them in a sense of like, letting them know that they hear you, see them, in other words. So anyway, you guys stay beautiful. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. I wish you all much love and much light. And I say until next time, peace and blessings. Bye.